All right. Good morning, everybody. It is so nice to see so many of you joining us this morning. Thank you so much for being here with us bright and early. I hope you've had a chance to grab some coffee, tea, or whatever you prefer in the mornings. But we have a great program for you this morning, so thank you again for being here. My name is Zara Augustine, and I am the manager of our volunteer programs at Project for Pride in Living. On behalf of the whole PPL team, I want to welcome all of you to our 2021 Building Strength Virtual Breakfast. Whether you already support PPL or you're here to learn about PPL's mission and impact for the first time, we are so glad you're able to join us this morning. So during this half-hour program this morning, you will hear from some of our PPL staff, our amazing community leaders, and also our fellow community members who build strength in their lives with PPL's help. Now, as some of you may know, PPL has a nearly 50-year track record of building strength and capacity in the Twin Cities. The organization was started by Joe Salvaggio, a son of immigrants, because he truly believed that people can thrive if they have the right tools. He was known to storm into corporate boardrooms across the Twin Cities to ask for the money he needed to pay for the renovation of blighted homes in Minneapolis. As a daughter of immigrants myself, I relate to Joe's passion. My family moved to the United States from Pakistan when I was 12 years old. And I saw how challenging it was for my parents to find the appropriate resources right away. So this is why, to me, it is absolutely critical that we have equitable resources for our community so that they can also find their own stability and become successful. So as we begin this morning, I first want to acknowledge that we are standing on the ancestral and contemporary homeland of the Dakota people and acknowledge their forced removal from these lands as part of our shared history. Now, PPL's affordable housing and career readiness services reach more than 8,000 people each year. But as you'll see here today, the impact of PPL's programs ripples out to families and communities as well. We were really hoping we would get to be with all of you in person this year. There's absolutely nothing like the energy that comes from so many people gathered together to support such an important cause. And for us, our annual breakfast is the single most important fundraiser of the year. It allows us to provide the holistic support that our residents and participants value so highly. And you all make that happen. So I really hope that this morning you're able to feel some of that same spirit of our annual breakfast here in this session with us. All right, now for the fun part. I'm excited to share that we have an audacious fundraising goal for this event because we know that this is a very generous community and because these funds are absolutely critical to delivering PPL's award-winning housing stability and career readiness programs. So our goal today is to raise $100,000 for PPL's mission. And I know we can absolutely achieve that goal with your support. So to kick us off, I'm honored to announce that an anonymous donor has provided us a $50,000 challenge grant that will match every gift of $500 or more received today. So that means that today you can double the impact you have on providing economic stability to Twin Cities households at this very critical time. A $1,000 gift today becomes $2,000. So to make a donation, please visit our breakfast donation page, which you can access by texting PPL to this number, using the QR code, or visiting ppl-inc.org/breakfast. Now, before we hear from our next speaker, Antonio, we want to share the reflections of 3 amazing community leaders and PPL partners about how PPL builds strength across the Twin Cities.
The work that PPL does is really life-changing, both for their clients, but also for the broader community.
Like 2%, less than 2% of Black businesses get funding from banks, So like the fact that I was able to walk in and get a $2 million loan off the juice of PPL, like says something.
One of the things I love the most about PPL is their approach to community engagement and truly engaging with the community to make sure that the work that they do is informed by community needs. And so, to ensure that what they're doing meets the needs of community as defined by the communities that they serve.
That has allowed us to increase our capacity to provide affordable housing to artists and entrepreneurs and families on the north side. So they're doing their work in their own capacity, but they've been able to help other Black and brown developers like myself increase our capacity to do our own work. So that's the
Another example is PPL's partnership on Riverton, Maya Commons, and Brook Avenue Student Co-op to creatively address a community safety concern with the preservation and adaptive reuse of the Bungie grain elevators.
They have been the leading examples of what developers should be doing. And so I appreciate and applaud all the work that they're doing.
PPL has a long history of engaging with the community to ensure that they are meeting needs as defined by the communities they serve. This is what PPL is currently doing as they prepare for redevelopment on Lake Street.
We are working with PPL right now on rebuilding our branch at Nicollet Lake. And they've called up, they're working with Cultural Wellness Center to reach out to the community and get that community input to make sure that whatever is designed is really going to meet the community's needs.
PPL has been a model, a set of behaviors that from outside looking in, but now having been a partner of theirs for the last couple of years in this capacity building space, it's been truly revolutionary for us to.
Well, the work that PPL does is so incredibly important, both in the housing sector as well as thinking about career development and placement.
PPL is an integral partner to the city's Step Up program, providing key programming and support to thousands of young people each summer. PPL is also a key partner in our Adult and Career Pathways programming, providing access and opportunity to hundreds of Minneapolis adults needing training and coaching that leads to work and a family-sustaining wage.
Is when you hear the testimonials from the clients, it's so moving to see what it's changed. Again, not just a roof over their head or a job, it's changed their whole outlook on life.
PPL has been one of those organizations that I see thinking outside of the box in terms of solutions and really getting comfortable with the uncomfortable.
PPL's willingness to step up in moments of crisis makes them a critical partner to the city of Minneapolis. PPL helped the city set up the Navigation Center, providing winter shelter and services to persons experiencing unsheltered homelessness in Minnesota's harsh winter.
You know, I can't imagine our community without PPL.
Good morning, friends. My name is Antonio Cardona, and I serve as Vice President of Career Readiness here at PPL. Having been in this role for less than a year, I can tell you that what we just heard about the trust people have in PPL is deep and widespread. Our funders and partners in both the private and public sector trust us because they see our values, the commitments we make, and see that we deliver what we promise. One of the reasons we're able to deliver is because of our approach, putting community members and their success at the center of everything we do, and constantly challenging ourselves to do better. Inside the classroom, our career training participants encounter a cohort of future friends and allies that will stick with them and encourage them through the program and well after they land that job and as they go pursue their next goals. Outside the classroom, participants are surrounded by a wealth of resources and opportunities, financial coaching, home ownership counseling, even personal growth opportunities like the StrengthsFinder assessment. And there's more. There's our rainy day fund available to new homeowners that helps them when a maintenance emergency strikes so they can still make their mortgage payment. There's our microgrant program, which helps a young person pay for driver's education classes or potentially helps an entrepreneur build capital and start a business. I call this the Ppl Advantage. It's the cherry on top. It's the resources and services that we know our participants need, but that our funding contracts don't always pay for. And that's where you come in. The reason we can provide this rich and highly resourced environment for our participants is because of individual donations. The funding that allows us to provide what people really need comes from individuals. It's also the funding that allows us to try something new. It's our innovation dollars. So even though we're gathering virtually this year, I hope you'll dig just as deep to help us deliver these services that position people for living wage jobs, for stability, and for success. Just scan the QR code, text PPL to the number shown, or visit ppl-inc.org/breakfast. And as Zara has said, gifts of over $500 today are matched dollar for dollar, doubling your impact on our mission. We know that people who have higher incomes get there and stay there because of their networks. We give motivated job seekers the skills, tools, resources, and personal connections they need to succeed. All of our staff, from our alternative high schools to our career readiness programs and our homeownership programs, continue to hear from the people who've passed through our doors for years. When you meet people with what they truly need and see them for their true potential, you've met a friend for life. Your gift to PPL makes this work possible. Now, before you hear from PPL President and CEO Paul Williams, we want to introduce you to Cody and John, two people who found the resources to build strength in their own lives through PPL.
Hi, my name's Cody Ross, and I was a bartender, and I was living a bartender lifestyle. It got worse and worse, and I ended up renting a room in this house with a bunch of other alcoholics, and cocaine was abundant there. And it didn't have heat, but it's all I could afford. The moment the light switch came on was there was an agency helping me out with rent, and they wanted to look at my bank statement. And they said, "You're spending 3/4 of your income on alcohol. So, we're cutting you off unless you go to treatment." I sobered up in 2017, and I had been about 1.5 years sober at that point. This PPL opportunity came up, and it was the largest thing I had that I've committed to since I was probably in grade school. The opportunity was the human resources training with the county. It took away the fear of walking into a college campus at 40 years old. Everybody was so supportive, and I had a super positive experience at school. I was a straight A student, and without PPL, I would have never done that. I would have just gone from job to job to job because that's all I knew. I'll never forget the day I got the phone call, and I picked up the phone. Something told me to pick up the phone. I picked up the phone, and I heard Shawana's voice, and I just threw the phone down. I just started bawling. Because I did it. I got the job. I graduated, PPL. I graduated the interview. Now I'm going into real life.
I'm John Vang. I still remember the first day I was diagnosed. The doctor comes in, he says, "Oh yeah, I'm the hospitalist, and we ran a battery test on you. We found out that you have heart failure." The first words that came out of my mouth was, "You're joking." It was thrown, out of loop, and I had plans to work hard, save money, because I wanted my kids to have the best of everything that I didn't get to grow up with. My plans just didn't fare so well, and it was devastating. We ended up being evicted. Being homeless and in a shelter, we always had our stuff in the truck. You go into this depression, worrying that, oh, how am I gonna support my child? How am I gonna support my wife? And I'm just stuck with, I'm lost. If I hadn't found PPL, I really wouldn't know. I'm assuming that we would still be back and forth with homelessness, trying to figure out what we're gonna do, how we're gonna do it. We wouldn't have supportive housing. We wouldn't have any of that available. With being homeless and being in and out of shelters, what PPL has given us is stability. I want to say thank you to PPL and everybody that's here. I wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Without PPL And without your donations and without your help, I wouldn't know where we would be. I want to thank you for everything. I want to thank you for helping me take this burden off my shoulders where I don't have to work at this alone anymore. I want to thank you for everything that has been possible because of your donations, because of your contributions. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. My family wants to thank you, and every family that works with PPL, that is a part of PPL. I want to thank you on their behalf for everything.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Paul Williams, President and CEO of Project for Pride in Living. As a PPL supporter, you are the reason we can be there for people like Cody and for families like John Vangs. We're asking for your help today because PPL delivers real results for real people, and we want you to be a part of it. To make your gift now, just text to this number, use the QR code, or visit ppl-inc.org/breakfast. Here are just two of the results that our supporters and our participants expect from PPL. Job seekers on average walk through the doors of our Career Center earning $9,000 a year and leave earning $34,000. In our affordable rental housing, 97% of our residents maintain housing stability for 24 months or more, a key predictor of stability. We could not provide those services that make these programs work without our supporters like you. But I want to tell you more about how critical PPL's mission is at this moment. You can stand today on the site at Lake and Nicollet in Minneapolis, where 2 summers ago, the George Floyd uprising left Wells Fargo's bank building smoldering and graffitied. The structures are gone now and the site is clear, so you see the townhomes to the west, vacant commercial spaces to the north and east, and of course, the still fortified 5th Precinct Police Station to the south. What happens next on that site says a lot about who we are and who we want to become as a community. It is a place of possibility. Wells Fargo asked PPL to partner with them to build what's next, and we've invited the Cultural Wellness Center to lead the visioning process with neighborhood residents and many others while we listen. The result will be what that community truly values and needs. It will be their vision, not ours. Early community input envisions affordable housing, commercial spaces for neighborhood businesses, communal space that can be accessed by neighborhood residents, and green space that can celebrate the diversity of the residents who have called that neighborhood home over the years. We are all eager to see something new rise from the ashes in our cities. But it's not just what we build, it's how we build it. We need to ask ourselves, how are we helping to build strength in people and communities? The muscles, the abilities to create their own reality. The work we've done over the past several years at PPL has prepared us to meet this moment with clarity. We're continuing to add to our 1,600 units of affordable housing across the Twin Cities. We're working with the American Indian Community Development Corporation on the final building of the Anishinaabe project. Deeply affordable housing that will provide a permanent home for members of the Native community who have been trapped in the tent encampments just down the street on Franklin Avenue. It's devastating. We're playing a lead role in bringing affordability to the historic Highland Bridge development on the former Ford site in St. Paul. We'll be building both workforce housing and housing for mothers with children there. Very exciting, really exciting project. On Lake Street, in addition to the Wells Fargo site, we're working with Claire Housing to build apartments for people with HIV and AIDS. That development is sending yet another statement of hope to the Lake Street community. In North Minneapolis, we're partnering with the Northside Achievement Zone to coordinate job training and housing opportunities for hundreds of the NAS families as a part of that holistic model targeting African-American scholars and their families. Meanwhile, we've expanded our home ownership program, helping communities of color build wealth and equity as homeowners. We will double the number of households of color we place into home ownership this year, opening up access to close to $20 million in equity for those households. That is wealth creation. Our career readiness programs continue to prepare people for positions that offer income growth PPL graduates are working in banking and healthcare, building operations, state government, county government, and many more areas. We are strengthening our traditional bank teller program to add training for financial advisor positions. We're also working with a new employer partner that will provide paid apprenticeships for our participants in the financial services industry. We're continuing to expand our work with young people as well, both with our 2 alternative high schools and our career pathways for youth. Our LEAP model allows young people to earn a high school diploma while working in paid apprenticeships that lead to careers. Excitingly, we're also partnering with Ramsey County to help prepare youth in foster care and BIPOC youth for higher paying jobs. We're not only working with our region's future employees, but with their employers as well, sharing concrete steps they can take to create an environment that's more inclusive and welcoming of diverse staff. In our career readiness programs and our housing, 9 out of 10 of the people that we serve are people of color. As the economic fallout from the pandemic continues to devastate households, we're creating more housing, preparing job seekers, and helping to build strength and ownership in the communities that have been hit the hardest. If you're already a supporter of PPL, thank you. If you aren't yet, I'm hoping to welcome you to today because we need you on board. As an organization, we are prepared to do more. We are ready to increase our affordable housing production and provide the wraparound services people need to get back on their feet. We're ready to expand our career training to prepare people not just for the jobs of today, but the jobs that are coming in the next 5 to 10 years. And in everything we do, we are asking ourselves, are we helping to build strength? Strength is money in the bank, not just enough to pay the rent. Strength is knowing you're on a career path with opportunities ahead of you. Strength is building assets through home ownership. Strength is rental housing and commercial space owned and operated by and for communities of color. Strength is defining your community's future, not having it defined for you. You showed up for us last year as we provided emergency relief during the height of the pandemic, when we gave $650,000 in direct rent relief to residents, more than $50,000 for groceries, plus Chromebooks and internet access for families with kids, and much, much more. So now that the floodwaters are starting to recede, we're asking you to look to the future with us. What will the future look like in the Twin Cities? That's up to us. We can't go back to business as usual, and we don't want to. So I hope I'm making a convincing case to you today that PPL is ready to step into this moment. I want you to step into this moment with us. I want you to make an investment in PPL. By all means, treat it as an investment. Do your due diligence, check us out. For nearly 50 years, PPL has been building strength in communities brick by brick, equipping people for careers, providing affordable places to live, and helping build capacity so families and communities can build their own futures. You've heard Zara and Antonio talk about the $50,000 match that will double every gift over $500 that we receive today. We would love to see you make that kind of investment today. Just text to give, use the QR code, or visit ppl-inc.org/breakfast. No matter what you give, you are voting with your dollars for a better future for our region. Your gift will help us pay for one-on-one support for people who live in PPL apartments, for internet access, for all the folks working in our career center, for meetings with up-and-coming developers like Chris, and for the extra time it takes to work deeply with communities so that they are stronger as a result of our partnership. How we do the work matters as much as what the work is. So I just want to say, just for a quick moment here, just a huge thank you to all of you for the journey that we've been on in this last 18 months, especially to our staff. Just an incredible lift in terms of so many different facets of our work. To our board, who have been there with us through thick and thin. It's been an incredible journey, still a lot of work ahead of us, obviously, but to all of you, so many notes, so many donations. Again, we stepped into the moment, you stepped into the moment with us, and we are just so deeply grateful for that. I want to thank our staff who helped put this event together. This is always a wonderful event, and I know so many of you who have been to our breakfast in the past. It's just a fantastic morning, and so we dearly miss you. We are very much hoping that we can come back together again next year. And I just want to say from the bottom of our hearts here at PPL, thank you so much for taking the time today. So have a great day. Enjoy your breakfast. We'll see you soon.